Hi there. So in this video, I'm going to give you introduction to LoadRunner software. So for this video, we will go through the components of LoadRunner and we will also understand LoadRunner terminology and how load testing process happens inside LoadRunner. We are not going to execute any script for this video. We will only go through theoretical part of LoadRunner software and what goes behind the scenes. Okay, so the first thing is we will discuss the LoadRunner components. Okay, so the first component is virtual user generator. This component captures end user business process and creates an automated performance testing script. So where you see create and edit script, that's where this virtual user generator script runs. Okay, so you can also call this script vuser script. Next thing is controller. So this controller organizes, drives, manages and monitors the load test, the test that is inside our script. Okay, and then comes our load generator. So in order to do the load testing, we need some sort of load, and LoadRunner offers us load generator to specify that load which runs with our users. And then comes the part for analysis. So analysis helps you view, dissect and compare the performance result. And then comes the last component, which is launcher. So launcher is where when you are running your scripts, it will give you access to all these components. Okay, so think of launcher like your dashboard, where you are actually getting access to your load generator, controller and user. Okay, so after the components, we will take a look at LoadRunner terminology. So we will see a bunch of definitions. So first definition is scenario. Okay, so scenario is a file in which events that our business process takes or occurs during that testing session are stored. So think of scenario as simply a transaction that user performs on e-commerce site. That is a scenario. So any load that we offer on that e-commerce platform will be under that particular scenario. Now let's take a look at what it means by users. So what are users? Think of it as virtual users, and they emulate the actions of normal users, or say humans, within our scenario. So when you're shopping on e-commerce platform, if we add 10 people as users, then within that scenario we have 10 users. And next definition is for user script. So basically any action that we take needs to be stored inside a script so that it can be repeated number of times. So we use a script that we create within this create edit scripts is that script. And finally the transactions. So in order to measure the performance of your server, you have to specify what actions goes for your scenario. Those actions are called transactions. So think of it as end user business process, where you are measuring a particular action from start to end. So these are our LoadRunner terminologies, and next we will see is load testing process. Load testing typically has 5 phases. First is planning, then script creation, scenario definition, scenario execution, and result analysis. So if you have a visual way of seeing this, think of it as we are planning the load test, then we create user script, then we define scenario, then we run that scenario, and finally we measure that scenario and analyze the result. So first thing we do is planning our load test. So we have to think of what are our requirements, what we want to measure, and how we want our test to run, on which server and with what capacity. That goes inside our phase of planning. Then while creating user scripts, we have to capture the user activities. So for example, for e-commerce platform, if you have to click on add to shop cart, choose multiple items, those such actions needs to be automated inside our user script. Then comes a scenario where you want to run this script. So for that, our LoadRunner controller needs to set up on this load test environment, and then we run this scenario. And for that, we manage, measure, and get the load from LoadRunner control. And finally, the analyze test results, we will check how the load activity happens and how to get each user's performance and understand how load tests are being performed for each user. Okay, so this was simple theoretical explanation behind our LoadRunner software. In next few videos, I will go through how to create our first user script, how to run it, and how to perform a test under a scenario with some dummy load.